There are millions of vehicles on America's highways, moving people from place to place and goods from market to consumer. The automobile is the American culture. It is the basis for how we live, work, and play. Cars and trucks keep America rolling, but tires keep the cars and trucks rolling. Tires have come a long way from the bicycle rims and tubes of the Model T. Today's tires are technical marvels, made of nearly indestructible composites with 40, 50, even 80,000 miles of tread life. However, that same indestructibility that we want engineered into our tires makes them difficult to dispose of when their tread life is gone, creating a solid waste management problem that impacts everyone. To scrap tire piles that litter the landscape. Tires don't decompose like the rest of society's refuse. They stick around for hundreds of years. They're hard to get rid of. They literally float to the surface of landfills because of trapped air. Some landfills will only take them if they've been cut into small pieces. That's an expensive proposition on top of the tip fee. Finding a good way to get rid of these tires is a dilemma that has stymied the industry and environmental agencies for years. There are just so many of them. Each year, Americans generate 270 million scrap tires. There are a few markets for this material, but many of them end up here on tire piles. Right now, there are millions and millions of tires in piles like these around the country. This is a small pile with a few thousand tires. The largest have upwards of 6 million tires in them. The U.S. is blessed with scenic, wide-open spaces. Unfortunately, these are the places tire piles tend to grow, spoiling nature and marring the landscape. At their least, they're an eyesore. No one wants to live next to a tire pile. At their worst, they're an environmental hazard. They hold water and heat, so they're perfect breeding grounds for mosquitoes that carry diseases like equine encephalitis and the West Nile virus, which has alarmed public health officials in some parts of the country. They're also an extreme fire hazard. Given enough time, most tire piles will eventually catch fire and burn out of control, spewing plumes of black toxic smoke into the air and littering the ground with charred tire carcasses. So, what are the answers to the problem of scrap tires? It starts with consumers. Buying tires that last long, and taking care of them, helps reduce the number of tires coming off the road. Buy them from reputable tire retailers who have outlet markets for the used tires they collect. There are a few markets that use tire materials as is, like muffler hangers and similar products. Rubber is extracted from a small percentage of tires and is used for the manufacture of running tracks and floor mats. Some scrap tires, about 10%, are good enough to see a few more years of road service on farm vehicles or similar equipment. But by far, the end use that will remove the greatest amount of scrap tires from the environment and provide a lasting outlet for tires as they come off the road is shredding them and using them as fuel to fire boilers. Boilers that generate steam for manufacturing or electricity to feed America's hungry appetite for energy. One passenger car tire has the same energy value as 7 gallons of oil. This energy is captured in the form of tire-derived fuel, or TDF, which is used as a supplement in wood-fired boilers. Turning the blight of scrap tires into usable energy is as simple as grinding them into pieces about 2 inches square and blending them in with wood chips, the primary fuel. It's not very much, maybe 3 to 5% by weight, but it's enough to stabilize combustion and improve boiler efficiency. At the plant, the TDF is stored separately from the wood fuel in limited quantities for fire safety. It's fed into the system with a hopper that meters it onto a conveyor with built-in scales that weigh how much TDF is going into the mixture. The TDF is then added onto conveyors carrying the wood fuel and is passed through the screen house that evenly blends the mixture and removes large pieces that could plug the feed system. It's then fed into the boiler where steam is made. That steam can be used directly in manufacturing processes such as the making of paper, or to turn a steam turbine and generate electricity. The wood and TDF ash that result from combustion is removed and trucked to approved landfills. Using scrap tires for fuel not only helps preserve existing energy sources, it also helps eliminate a solid waste problem. It completely removes the tire from the environment. The tire and its original material no longer exist. Products made directly from scrap tires eventually live their useful life and are landfilled, where they will linger for centuries. We know that utilizing scrap tires for fuel takes them out of the environment and provides a source of needed energy. But in addition, scrap tires as a fuel supplement actually reduce overall emissions from wood-fired power plants. Because TDF has a higher energy value than wood, it produces the same amount of energy from less mass. Less mass means fewer emissions of particulate matter and less ash. Because tires contain petroleum, which contains sulfur, sulfur dioxide emissions increase and, like other wood-related emissions, is regulated. But that amount of sulfur dioxide is minor compared to the sulfur dioxide emissions from coal and oil-fired power plants, the source of most of North America's power. In fact, the wood actually provides a degree of control over sulfur dioxide emissions, because some of the sulfur in the TDF binds with the carbon in the wood ash and ends up in landfills instead of going out the stack. The wood acts as a kind of natural catalyst that reduces sulfur dioxide emissions without additional control technologies. You might wonder why burning tire chips in a boiler is different, cleaner, than burning piles of tires. These two events are not the same. Modern boilers burn TDF at high temperatures and have technologies that completely burn the tire material. This squeezes out every ounce of its energy value. Plus, it keeps certain compounds and toxins from forming. And devices such as electrostatic precipitators and baghouses remove the particulates from the smoke. In the uncontrolled burn of a tire pile, the tires burn at varying temperatures and have no control technologies, resulting in the black smoke and toxins many people associate with burning tires. There's little threat of a fire starting in a TDF pile. The material is constantly being moved as fuel is consumed, and trucks bring in new supplies. Also, facilities firing TDF must comply with local and state fire codes to maintain accessibility and limit pile sizes to minimize heat buildup. The proper disposal of scrap tires is everyone's problem. State governments around the country are spending millions of dollars to clean up scrap tire piles and to explore the best ways to eliminate these eyesores and hazards from the environment. Using scrap tires as tire-derived fuel provides one of the best end uses for scrap tires currently available. Wood-fired power plants and other facilities using or wanting to use TDF have the potential to remove the majority of the 270 million tires that come off the road each year. It is a market that exists today and represents the best possible means for dealing with this solid waste problem, a problem that affects us all.